up, you guys? Nice having you here. I really do enjoy this. I'm starting to have a little bit of fun, you know? I really am. This is what I needed in my relationships in the past. Was talking, speaking my mind. And when I speak my mind, people don't like it, at least in my relationships. Let's help us Disney fans out a little bit today. Anyways, before I go on too much, I hope you're all doing really well today. Um, it is like sun shining right now, and the rain is going hardcore. Right after I just got an alarm on the phone saying severe thunderstorms, mega hail, take cover. And now we're just getting the most beautiful rainfall ever. Like, oh, you probably can't even see out there. Shit. It's a beautiful day. There's that pink tree just where I pointed the cam. So, yeah. We got like a problem that the conspiracy files brings, and it's directing it towards Disney, and I have no idea why, because I do a 20-second search, and I even use Google, not GPT. I got GPT learned to double check and triple check depending on what info I'm bringing towards it. So I just did a Google search first, and of course, for a search, I copied and pasted it just down below here so you guys can read it. You don't even have to read, you don't even have to watch my fucking episode right here unless you like to hear me fucking talk. So, Disney and Epstein, keep that shit separate, bro. You are defaming Disney while they are also facing some pretty terrible illegal shit themselves. Like, I know we're pissed with the crimes that Disney are found for, but I'm not going to sit here and listen to the conspiracy files, bro, try to bring Disney and Epstein together. Especially when, in 20 seconds of my quick Google search, and of course I say 20 seconds because I read it, wouldn't even take that long, really. 10 seconds, boom, done. There you go, copy paste. Epstein books. Yes, it was found in a Disney's video. But Epstein Books was a store owned and operated by two brothers, and their first names were not fucking Epstein. The last name was fucking Epstein. Epstein Books. I forgot I meant to keep me big off the start. I just rushed into this fucking stream right now. As soon as I seen Epstein in a Disney movie, I was like, fuck off. Everyone's got to try to take something and make it some kind of news headline. Well, I can talk about the Epstein files and stay on the Epstein files. Of course, if you're on Goose Trail, you're going to hear this fucking brain damaged cracker's mind just go off in examples, and then I get sidetracked and I can't remember what I'm talking about and this and that. But fucking scratch all that. Epstein is separate from Disney unless you catch an individual within the Epstein files, and then you single that name out of the group or the corporation. It's not realistically the collective group that's to blame. It's only one or two, you know? So separate Epstein from Disney. Maybe there is some Disney creators, filmers, whatever, Disney workers at Disney World, whatever. It, he's just like tying in Disney with Epstein, and I find it stupid. As soon like this guy is out there doing research. Well, if someone found Epstein in a Disney movie, then that was my very first question. So if that's my very first question, why would I title news on the Epstein files around Disney? Now, like, just give me a fucking break. Now we'll shrink me. Fuck. Like I said, I rushed in. When I first started this stream, I forgot my mic powered on again. Restarted this motherfucker. So let's listen to Bro on the conspiracy files talk about. You know what? We don't even have to listen to him talk about it.
A lot of you have seen the film Enchanted with Amy Adams.
All right, Enchanted is the one, obviously. So we don't have to listen to him talk. Realistically, we really don't even have to. So we're just going to watch the clip from Enchanted.
Making bridal gowns or gowns for little kids. And here we go. We see a lot of little girls in.
Okay. Remembering this is the movie Enchanted by Disney. What, we supposed to have a room full of tiny boys in princess dresses? Come on, conspiracy files, bro. Please, man, please.
Princess outfits. They're surrounding the princess. Now the scene changes, and bang. What do you?
Okay, what do you notice? All right, Epstein's books. Let's let that. Okay, it's got a little video right here that I've been
You see right there.
Paying attention to. So if this bookstore was open during the 60s and 70s, closed in 77, and you watch this little clip, look at the time in there. That is going to be the 70s right there. I see those big frame glasses, it just the shirts. That is a 70s photo right there. Maybe late 60s. And what do you know? They're holding books, probably a video in the 70s that was captured and recorded during a day when outside of Epstein's books in Iowa, there must have been a crazy lineup. And just to guess why that lineup was there, I bet you there was an author actually at Epstein's books signing books. Look, those guys, late 30s, they're reading a book. And that's obviously what's going to be in that lineup, I think, is males. It's going to be a male fantasy book of some sort. And these guys are waiting for their author to sign their favorite fucking trilogy or series or single book. So you can't tie Epstein into Epstein books because Epstein is the last name of these two brothers who owned this fucking company. And it went out of business a long time ago. All right, so now you're going to weirdly, in my mind, it's kind of perverted, kind of like how a white woman talks in my mind. You're trying to take a whole and defame it. That's just not how it works in my mind. I am such a realistic person. And I don't look at stupid fabrications of scenarios. I look at real scenarios like a detective. I'm not going to well, a smart detective, because our police officers these days are just legal, the government's bodyguards. That's what they are now. They're not police officers, they are government bodyguards. Or, I should say, bodyguards of the law. And the law is always out to fuck innocent people. So, like, it just, this guy is talking out his fucking ass right now. And it sucks because, like, I like his shit. He does bring a lot of stuff together. Unfortunately, in this one, he's like trying to like say, "Oh, Disney, and look at this room full of girls." Like, this is Disney. This is the story. What do you want to maybe what make you happier if there was half little boys and half little girls all in princess dresses? I don't know. Like, and yes, again, I know Disney is facing some really terrible legal issues. I'm not here to tell you exactly about them right now. I'm here to basically show you all how my mind realistically works in really big cases or in little cases. The common sense, the consideration, the empathy. I'm not taking a whole bunch of people and blaming them just because a word, a name was found. Now, let's face it, Disney is historical. And I bet you, in the past, Epstein's books did work with Disney in selling their stories. It makes sense to me. So, really, like, think about that. Okay, conspiracy files? Like, he's just going out there defaming Disney because of a name. This is a last fucking name. The brothers have two normal fucking names. This is not a first name, motherfuckers.
Let's do a zoom in. Up top right here, Epstein's books.
Great.
Epstein's books.
Epstein's
There you get kind of
books.
a closer look.
Now,
Old, new,
your
rare,
whole
whatever. Say
episode
that word. Epstein's
is
books.
debunked.
When initially
I really don't have to take us through this, honestly. Because what he's going to do is he's just going to try to weirdly talk about pictures found in the Epstein files. And he's going to just say, it seems kind of weird. Giving you that, sounds weird. Conspiracy? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, this is all of his stuff, right? My stuff is posted down below. All right, just pics from Epstein files. Okay, great. Epstein was working with a director. Great. So, figure out what movie director was working on with Epstein and his girlfriend at the time.
when we get to this portion of the photos, we can see
So, he's just here pointing more photos out. He's going to try to name people that he's seen in these Epstein photos. And he's going to try to figure out who that one dude is. Doesn't matter because we're not talking about that. He's trying to talk about,
here some photos of
oh, Barry Josephson. That's who is in the picture there, director. Oh, fuck. Man, it's kind of embarrassing. Yeah, still. Okay, now he's trying to open up emails from Barry Josephson. Just make sure
Jeffrey at
it's
12:45 p.m. on the
Barry
corner of Lex and
Josephson.
83rd. You'll walk one block to
Yep.
a pizza.
Okay, so let's see if Barry Josephson works with Disney. Then we can almost debunk my little bullshit here. Okay, Barry Josephson. What? What the fuck? Okay, what? I'm still connected. What's going on? Google can't be searched, but alright, then we'll just go to Grok. Um, does, is tied to Disney somehow. I'd rather use my GPT, but then you can't see. Okay. Now, we definitely can. So now my episode is kind of stupid. So that's why he's tying in the Epstein's books with the producer who has worked on major Disney hits as producer in Enchanted and in Disenchanted, deal in the late 90s, leaving his role, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so Barry Josephson is tied into Disney. Now we are fucking creating more of the story and releasing more information than the conspiracy files at this point. We now see but why didn't he say anything like that in his video? So, what we have found out is because of a name weirdly filmed into Enchanted's films, we are now looking deeper into this. And now we found new information that could tie Epstein files and Disney closer together, but not Disney as a whole. Not Disney as a whole. Barry Josephson is a single person, not like single relationship wise, just human, just another human who is working with Disney, and has had fucking Epstein along for the ride, and who knows in which movies, which times, this and that. So now we could actually listen to all these emails that Buddy has put together. So you can see the relationship between Barry and Epstein. So, yes, Barry did work for Disney on some films, but Barry is not Disney all in all. So, and that's what I like to talk about really. Like, okay, so now we found out and spoken through a little bit more clearly on how I think the conspiracy files should have said it just a second ago, like I did. You know, we have found a producer that has close ties to Epstein, and that producer's name is Barry Josephson, and he has worked on Disney films as their producer. So now that's this very sick kind of side to it. Okay, but that's just part of the video in my mind. Girls in a room doing a clip for a movie. And yes, if Epstein was there, who knows what would have happened or what did happen. So now let's watch the conspiracy files release what he has found on them relating Barry and Epstein.
Books. Now, what initially caught my interest is the fact that a lot of people were talking online about how this shot, just not to nitpick, but it literally transitions from a group of little girls to a bookstore.
It's
called
really creepy.
Epstein's
It really is.
Books.
That is really
And,
creepy.
you know,
Are you just taking girls and folding them into a little book with the title Epstein books, right? Like that. That's gross. And then you got a lineup of a bunch of dudes, what, waiting to come see all the little princesses, and this isn't a Disney movie. So that is really creepy. So now let's expose Disney. If you're going to be a children's producer of films, then why would you take a room full of girls and close them into a book titled that with a lineup of creepy, perverted men waiting to come see all the little tiny princesses? Like, that's some disgusting, gross imagery right there from Disney.
you know, there are
Yes, they used Epstein's books because it was something from the past. Maybe they did sell Disney books, but they know the story behind the name of Epstein's past. So why did Disney do this, and why did they do it in such a creepy fucking way? Room full of little tiny girls, and they get closed up into a book so that the perverted row of men are lining up outside to come to Epstein's books.
a lot of people named Epstein out there, and I know that there are going to be people out there that say, Colin, there are a ton of people with the name Epstein. Let's see, how many people are named Epstein?
12,500.
Well,
13,000.
actually, I mean, that's not that many. 12,952 individuals. It's the 2,786th most common surname. But yeah, there's thousands of people named Epstein in the world. It's reasonable to believe that there might be an Epstein's books in New York City where the film takes place. But this gets incredibly strange.
It's like right there, he says, could have been a store open in New York. So he's doing all this work. So he like really confused me off the start, right? So I check out if Epstein books did exist. Okay, yes, it did exist. So end of story right there. Let's start streaming. Let's fucking talk about it. Now I fucking put myself into a position where I could have went one step farther as well. But it's nice because nobody really talks about the Epstein files, and here's us talking together and trying to put two and one together. Whatever you want to call it or say it. So we figured some things out right here together. You and me. Down the fucking goose trail, man. That's how we figure shit out. We talk. Fuck, we figure shit out just on our own, being by ourselves. It's fucked up.
Let me show you now some photos from the Epstein files. So I don't know if you've seen these before, but these are pictures found in the files that show Epstein and a group of, I don't know if they're survivors or people that are tied into Epstein, on the set of a film. Now, specifically, when we get to this portion of the photos, we can see this man whose identity is unredacted, Jeffrey Epstein right here, and then I believe this is Karina Shuliak, Epstein's girlfriend at the time of his death, if you believe he's dead. And yeah, you can see Epstein's really hanging out with this guy. Here they are again from behind. Here's Epstein and Karina. Here's this giant set that they've constructed for this film. I thought this looked like Sean Bean, is that his name? The guy from Game of Thrones at first, but I think it isn't him. But then we got the director's tent right here, the producer's tent on the film set. Here's a picture of Karina and somebody else. Karina in the car, Epstein hanging out with the director, producer. Here he is with this guy. Very, very close. Interestingly, you got, I believe this is like New Mexico water here. But yeah, Epstein's introducing this guy to girls. Here they are in the workshop for the film. Epstein again with this guy. Oh, we'll come back to that. Epstein with some redacted women. Epstein and the guy. I mean, there's so many pictures. This guy's obviously close with Epstein. And this is Epstein and Karina. So we need to go back to this. This is an image of, like I said, I believe Karina Shuliak, Epstein's girlfriend, in the executive producer's chair. Well, before we get to that, we have to show you what the film is. You can see, I think this was a pilot for a TV show called Edge. Yep, a 2015 show called Edge. As you can see, there are the writers, there's the director, the cast, producers. We've got Barry Josephson. Okay, so this is Barry. Take a good look at this guy right here. Some photos of Barry. Barry's a powerful Hollywood guy, a Hollywood type. And if we circle back to these photos, who's this guy? Well, that's Barry Josephson. Right here, here's a little flip between. I mean, he's a little bit older there, but this was over 10 years ago. Here he is with Epstein. Here they are in the tent. I mean, clearly this Barry guy is good friends with Epstein. You can just tell by the body language, the demeanor. I mean, just the fact that Epstein was invited to the working set of a production in general obviously shows that the two were decently close. And if you go into the Epstein files, Barry Josephson actually had a long and lengthy documented relationship with Epstein. You can see here are some emails between Barry and somebody in Epstein's world. Hey Barry, can you meet Jeffrey at 12:45 p.m. on the corner of Lex and 83rd? You'll walk 1 block to a pizza place. This is in June of 2018. Here's another from October 2017. A message chain between...
Talking about a pizza place right off the start of Conspiracy Files showing us emails. That's fucked up.
Barry Josephson,
it gets more fucked
and
up.
Leslie Groff, Epstein's main assistant, the woman who worked for him. They're talking about trying to find the mysterious blank.
I just love talking because, like, I even figured out how to tie his episode all together even better with just 2 quick internet searches. So at the start, we're talking, you just can't, like, take all of Disney and blame them. You can take a Disney worker and separate him from Disney as a whole. Yes, there's going to be some other creeps in Disney too, guaranteed. I mean, if there wasn't more creeps at Disney, then they wouldn't have made such a fucking creepy scene with little girls and then they get, like, turned into the next page of the book exposing Epstein's name from trying to use it as a sick, twisted fucking scene because they know Epstein and they know about the old Epstein books, so we could actually use the Epstein books without looking creepy when people ask us. That's a real store. That's not tied to Epstein at all. No, the store and Epstein itself is not tied together as far as we have quickly tied. I guess the next question realistically would be is those brothers in the surname Epstein? No, it can't be because Epstein's last name is not. It is Jeffrey Epstein. Sorry, my bad. But we should figure that out because it could be like his uncles from the past who owned Epstein's books. And I sounded like an idiot before because when I was talking, I always Epstein, like that just like drilled into my mind for so long that it just feels like first name. I don't know how I spoke like that. But so yeah, both last names. We're going to have to search that up really quick, I think. Let's see. Can we use Google yet? Can we now go back then? Okay, so copy that. Okay. Is Jeffrey Epstein related to the owners? Now we better do this to GPT as well. Open GPT. Oh, it's because the message was there. Open GPT. Or not. Is Jeffrey Epstein related to the owners of Epstein's books, Harry and Glen Epstein? Question mark. A Google and AI search. That's what I'm fucking talking about. So GPT checks 3 times for socials. No evidence was related to Harry and Glen Epstein of Epstein's books to Jeffrey Epstein. All right. Yeah. Good. We are clear. And you guys can see right there. No known and clear evidence that the Epstein brothers were related to Jeffrey Epstein at all. So, of course, Disney did that so that they can actually put that store in as their sick, fucking twisted shit. It's disgusting.
I'm making introductions. Here's another email from 2010 from Jeffrey to Barry. I pushed my flight to 4:15 for a morning meeting. Let me know if I can see you before I head out. It'd be great to catch up. So you can see that's 2010. Epstein and this Barry guy meeting up, catching up. Here's a message from 2013 between Barry Josephson and Jeff Epstein. You can see this is Epstein's email. Another email. I mean, we could go through these all day. Basically, you can see here Epstein writes to Barry, glad to see it blank. Still has not even had a walk on. Please take care of it. Barry says, I'll definitely reach out whenever I film anything. Hope you're thriving. And as always, thanks for saving me. So Epstein saved this producer, showing at this point that they've had a working relationship. Epstein writes back, thanks. So that's 2012. Here's another from 2017. Just exchanging messages between Barry Josephson, Leslie Groff, Epstein's assistant. They have a very documented relationship. That is obvious at this point. But crazily enough, Barry, it seems like, actually set Epstein up with a young woman. So here is an email from 2011. Barry writes, Jeffrey, I'll be in Miami shooting The Finder, a spinoff of Bones for Fox, February 22nd through March 4th. Will you be in New York before or after that? Best, Barry. And then Epstein cryptically writes back, any amazing women in their early 20s that would like to be an assistant? Question mark. And Barry says, for you, correct, in New York City only or New York City and travel. And then then we have this email. Epstein says both. Sorry for all the typos. So New York City and travel. And
I had a feeling he wasn't going to read it just yet. Then Barry says, I have the girl. Her name is. She worked for me on 2 films. Young, attractive, insane rack. Smart, although not a genius, but very efficient. Will do anything. And tight-lipped. Period. End of story. So, she'll do anything you want and she won't say a word.
for all the typos, so New York City and travel.
That's sick.
And Barry writes back to Jeffrey Epstein, I have the girl. Her name is blank. She worked for me on 2 films. Young, attractive, insane rack, smart, although not a genius, but very efficient. Will do anything and tight-lipped, period, end of story. So Epstein is asking this film producer for a girl to become
No more tea.
assistant of his. And we know what that means in Epstein's world. It could be one of his assistants, like the women that worked with Epstein, like Leslie Groff, any of those individuals. Could also mean a potential victim, somebody who can assist Epstein in his operation. And I just find it really eerie that he refers to her as young, attractive, with an insane rack, will do anything and tight-lipped, period. Meaning this girl is young and attractive and is down to do anything, and she won't tell anybody about what she's doing. To me, that is really suspicious and strange. And, what do you make of that? Clearly, this is talk of setting up a young, unknowing girl with Jeffrey Epstein, the super predator. And keep in mind, guys, this is 2011 when this is going on. This is after Epstein got out of prison and was all over the news for allegedly, at the time, because it wasn't proven, allegedly trafficking and women and victimizing dozens of kids and teenagers. And he served his prison sentence. Jeffrey wasn't as famous back then, but he was all over the news when this happened. This was a pretty big story. Like, it was covered on mainstream media. He was a notable person back then. So obviously Barry knew what happened with Jeffrey. He knew he was a pervert. He knew he went to prison.
Right.
He knew he was accused of trafficking girls. And Jeffrey asks him for a girl. And he agrees. And he even says, I have the girl. Young, attractive, insane rack. Will do anything and tight-lipped.
Epstein just had his fucking.
End of story.
He just had himself in everywhere.
And then this email chain finishes out. This is a different document. I hate how they organize the files. Epstein says, where is she? Where is the girl? And he says, Los Angeles. She just finished a film. Want her contact info, or should I have her call you? So we can assume that Barry Josephson set Epstein up with this young girl with, as he says, an amazing rack who's tight-lipped, who won't tell anybody about what Epstein does to her, or puts her through. So why am I telling you all this? Why am I showing you these photos of this Barry Josephson guy with Epstein? This is, 3 or 4 years after that email was sent, by the way. Why am I showing you how close they are on set? Why am I pointing this out? They're sitting right next to each other with that damn creepy smile. Why is this a thing? Why is Epstein with this guy? And why am I pointing out that Barry Josephson is important?
I actually have a scary clip that I found after Epstein was killed. There's no way. There's no way. Big feeling he had escaped. The actual dead body is not Epstein. And the clip I have, now this could have been before. I couldn't see a timestamp. Um, but it was definitely a long enough time after he was presumably called dead. There's this video someone took, and they said, "Does this guy look like Epstein? Or is this Epstein?" And there's a convertible, and that smug looking fucking face of Epstein was in that fucking car. Nose, jaw, brow. Man, I think he's out there. I really think Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, is out there doing what he thinks he does best. You know? The sickest shit. Like trying to grow a baby farm, basically. That's some fucked up shit.
A main character in the story. He's an executive
Yeah, I
producer.
got a clip of him
Well, that would be
traveling
Barry
down the
Josephson.
highway
Let's
in
just
my
take a little
Discord.
Trip down the rabbit hole. Enchanted. Here's the movie. That's because Barry Josephson was one of 2 producers of Enchanted. So, there he is. So, I don't know. That's the end of this rabbit hole. That's where this goes. But I want to rewatch that end scene of Enchanted one more time, knowing what we know now, with the transition
creepy.
in the film of all of the children, the young girls in dresses, to Epstein's
creepy.
books.
That's fucking creepy.
And the producer, one of 2 producers of that film, provided Epstein with a young girl, tight-lipped, who won't say anything. Do you think that this is just a coincidence? Do you think that the bookstore just happened to be named Epstein's Books in New York City?
Yeah. There, at this point, there is no weird correlation of anything. Disney did their research, like I just did on this stream for you, that Epstein brothers are so far away from being related to each other that can't be tied together. So they sickly put that in there because, I mean, that's obvious that it's not just Barry, the producer. There will be a few others in Disney that are close with Epstein. Epstein had his money, fingers, and decisions in every single part of the. Look at the royal family, the British royal family. You know, I might say wrong things and shit because I don't watch one thing every single day to remember everything. But yeah, this is some creepy shit, man. So I'm actually happy I came on here to like bitch on like why would you put Disney so close to Epstein? Well, we figured it out. I'm glad I did this. All right. Thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you have a great day.